Hello, hello, everyone. It is Jynnette The Oracle. Welcome to Oracle Talks and this beautiful 11/22 day. 11/22, so powerful numbers. I am joining you from Overcast, California at the moment. We just finished our, spread of atmospheric river rains that we were dealing with, and we are good now. So, yay for that. I do have yummy deliciousness that I'm sipping today. It is a strawberry matcha latte that I just made. So I'll be enjoying that. I'll stir that up and enjoy that a little bit later. But for today, I actually wanted to get into a message that's been on my heart, like percolating for a little bit. And that's to kind of tap into these two main things that I am sensing and seeing, not only within myself, but also with clients and just people in general. And it's these two things. One is the end or the death and allowing things to die, allowing something to completely end so we can finish and be able to move on. And then second is what to focus on next to invest energy and time into, and having clarity about that. So for a lot of us, it's been one or the other or both. But now that we are in the Scorpio lunar cycle, I think it's great to be talking about endings and beginnings, essentially. But the reason why I didn't title it Endings and Beginnings for this Oracle Talks and instead did Endings and Investment is because investment has more intentionality and single-minded focus and action associated with it than just beginning. Beginning is just kind of like, the door is open, you're standing at the threshold, and there's all these possibilities, but it doesn't necessarily mean that a decision has been made, and that there is a place where a seed or seeds are being planted. So we're going to focus on those primarily, or at least that's the intention. We'll see how things go. I actually did not pull cards because I want to have this be a little bit more free-flowing. But yeah, so hopefully that will be beneficial to you all. So as you come in, say hello in the comments. Let us know where in the world you're joining from, what you might be sipping on. I'm now going to stir up my beautiful strawberry matcha latte. Let's see how much of this is going to have so much strawberry at the bottom. It's so good, though. It's so good. Yep. I love it. I love this new matcha that I have. I obviously love ceremonial grade matcha, but with the matcha shortages, it's difficult to get access to that regularly. So premium it is, which is still great. But the version that Bay got me recently is a summer variety, and I tend to drink, the autumn, fall varieties because they have a lot of like umami flavor to them. But the summer I've really been liking. It's very bright. Yeah, it's bright. That's a thing I would say for it. Yeah, so I'm really actually liking this. I don't know that I would give up the other, but I think I like them equally, I can say. All right. So as you are coming in, please do let me know how you are doing, how, the last week has been. Last time I was on, I was providing messages for the upcoming Sagittarius season, and we're now officially in Sagittarius season. Happy birthday to those of you who are Sagittarians. So I did that for all signs. So if you haven't checked that out, definitely be sure to do so. Go to the playlist tabs, and all of the Oracle Talks for this year are there. So you just check out the one before. If I remember, I will tag this for the end of the video, so you can actually just go directly to it if need be. But yeah, check that out. And we have like 1 week left in the month, but if you still want to get more insight into the astrology for the month of November, go to the blog page of the website, and the astrology report is there for you. Okay. All righty. So let's actually discuss the endings first. I have a bunch of decks. So I have Threads of Fate, the Sacred Language of Light, which is like so much light there, my Akashic Tarot, and then my Dragon deck. I think I want to do the Dragon deck for the endings part of this message. So this will be for all signs. Today's Oracle Talks will be slightly longer because I'm going to do all signs for both aspects, but this will be for all signs, and it's going to, for this ending portion, will be about well, I guess it's going to depend on where folks are, because for some people, this can be a clear indication of what you have completed and an acknowledgement of what has died. For some, it's that which is in the process of releasing, right? So maybe actually the focus for this first part should be, well, not should be, but it could be getting guidance on how to honor and possibly ritualize the end, the death of whatever has needed to be let go of, whatever is done for this next part of life. So yeah, okay, we'll go with that. All right, so take a few deep breaths. Oh, you know what? I didn't actually prep this. I can have this easily. It's going to be a lot of timestamps, but I want to make sure I have that for y'all so that it's easy to go back and forth with. Okay, so we're doing all 12 zodiac signs. Welcome to folks coming in. Welcome, welcome. We are just getting started. Say hello in the comments. Let us know what you're sipping on, where you're joining from, how you're feeling, all of that. Hello, hello. Ah. Let's get these cards. If you are new, please do subscribe to the channel. It really does help to circulate this within the YouTube ecosystem. And also, I would love to get to 1,000 subscribers. Right now, I think I'm at like 988, which is also a beautiful number because the 88 and the 9, right? But yeah, that'd be greatly appreciated. And then do share this with folks that you would like to share this with. If you're not signed up for the newsletter, go ahead and sign up. There's lots of events actually that's going to be coming up over the next 2 to 3 months. I'll obviously be, sharing that, but you'll find out first in the newsletter. And I don't spam folks, so. All right. So again, we're getting messages for all 12 signs, and I will provide the timestamps after I finish the live stream. But again, this first part of the message is going to be focused on the endings and how we can honor for ourselves as a way to honor and acknowledge the ending of something. Okay, whatever that is. So it could be a pattern of behavior, it could be cycle, it could be the leaving of a job. It could be, fears, negative self-talk, whatever. So we'll see what comes up for folks. Just 3 more cards, and then we will get going. How's everybody doing out there? I hope well. I hope well. That is my prayer. One more card. Oh, yeah. Also, if you have not already, check out the 2026 Spiritual New Year Guidance. I have the link in the description below. Okay. To drive the point home, the card at the bottom of the deck is the Three of Swords. So it's very clear that this is, about the endings. This is very much about the endings. Okay. All right, let's go with Aries first. So you have the Two of Swords, Aries. Now, for these messages, you can do, rising, sun, moon, whatever you feel resonating with. But, given that we have all 12 signs in the chart and they do sit in, for the most part, depending on your chart, of course, they do sit in different houses. It might be advisable to, take all of the messages for the various different aspects of life. Okay. All right. So Aries, Two of Swords for you. This actually feels like the difference between instinct and intuition. And I feel like with this, that there's an understanding or a clarity now of no longer being bound by the binary of the two. And, being at a place now where you see and feel and embody yourself as an integrated whole. So one of the ways that you might want to honor yourself is, if you are someone that, has altars and works with knives or like metals and things like that, it might actually be nice to have two knives on the altar, one for each. And then space between, or a third larger knife or sword to represent that new integrated sacred third. It might also be great to spend time with each and give gratitude for how they both work and have served you. And share your love and your excitement about what a new integrated path with them looks like. Maybe this is also an ending of an internal war. Maybe this is an ending of not wanting to face the consequences of taking action on intuition or instinct. It's going to depend on the person, but the first thing that's coming up about that is this dynamic of that binary. The ideas around that, saying goodbye to whatever stuff is around that to fully embrace and embody that sacred third. Okay. If you are an Aries, let me know if that resonates. Okay. Taurus, you have the Lover's card. All right, so I'm actually, this hasn't come up for a while, but I'm literally getting twin flame with this. And this is a saying goodbye to a twin flame dynamic. And specifically, this idea or belief around what's dominant around twin flames, the perspective around them. I haven't talked about this probably for like a few years. I'm not someone who subscribes to the idea that is posited about this twin flame dynamic. in terms of, romantic relationship, past life connection, all that kind of stuff. I think that ultimately is very emotionally manipulative and spiritually abusive power dynamics showing up. That's a whole other discussion. But I think on some level, Taurus, especially being an earth sign, there's a bit of groundedness that's coming through, and the prevailing ideas and beliefs around that feel like they're actually what's dropping off. Now, that could be it exactly, or it could be even broader, just this idea of there being the one or a counterpart to you that, fulfills you, or that you are supposed to, walk this life with. It could be this idea of divine masculine, divine feminine, and how that plays out in gender dynamics. Like it could be so many things. But the first thing that came up really was the twin flame stuff. So, depending on your situation, take it as it resonates. But ultimately, that's what's being left behind. So, to honor that, the focus is actually less on, to honor the ending of that. The focus is less on the other person and more about this gratitude again, coming up with your heart and the deep desire within you for relationship, for relating, and speaking to that place within you, that aspect in you that is the lover. The world builder within you that also, has and had created these ideas and these dreams, are latched on to them, whether they were truly your own or most likely, ideas from other folks that you took on and kind of ran with. And I'm getting the word specifically placeholder. You took on and ran with because they were a nice placeholder, because there wasn't an idea or any other options that felt as good or as aligned, that your mind could kind of construct or create an idea around based off of, the world, the society, the culture in which you live. And so this was a nice placeholder. And again, there's gratitude for that. But now there's a deep understanding and seeing that for what it is. Maybe your vision, your perspective around these other areas, these other parts of your visions have expanded so much that you see where now you can construct something different, regardless of whether or not it actually has to do with the relationship or not. And that's beautiful. I love that for you, Taurus. If you are a Taurus, let me know. Or if you have Taurus very prominent in your chart, let me know if that resonates. All right, Gemini, you have 8 of Wands. Now, 8 of Wands in a typical Rider-Waite deck is, you see an image of 8 wands going in the same direction. They're all on parallel paths, but they're going in the same direction. That is not the imagery here. So the word that I was getting was focus. And focus doesn't mean just one thing. It's more about that all of the things going in the same direction kind of vibe. So there's an ending of dispersed focus, attention, activity, resources, what have you. Okay. Welcome to folks coming in. Please do say hi as you join, and let us know where you're joining from and what you might be sipping on. I will share. I am enjoying strawberry matcha latte. Got my strawberry at the bottom. So yeah, that's what's ending for you, Gemini, or where we have Gemini in the chart. So the way to honor this, I'm actually getting, is through creativity. The way to honor the ending and create some kind of ritual and kind of physical, official closing of this process. But I'm finding through creativity, and specifically through drawing or, painting, something like that. And visualizing all these different paths. The visual I'm seeing, and this doesn't have to be what it is for you, but the visual I'm seeing is kind of like drawing a tree. So from the roots up or from the canopy down. So again, the various, paths, but instead of it being, up and out, it's you're drawing from that and you're coalescing into the trunk, whether it's from above or from below. That visual is also similar for, a river system. Before we have, the big rivers that we see, they are birthed from a myriad of tributaries that come from so many different directions. So I'm glad that this imagery is actually coming through, because it's a reminder that the dispersal is not a detraction or a separation or dissociation from self. The focus, the path, the trunk, the river itself, the main river, remains there. And so it's like the perspective of the true soul nature moves from canopy or root system to trunk, or tributaries or delta to river body. And it's not to say that this is the ultimate perspective to have, but this is an important step to get to what's going to be next, which is all of it, which I know you love. All right, Cancer at 2222. We have 10 of Pentacles for you. Now, this is really interesting to have as an ending. Let me take a sip on this. Any Cancers in the chat? Actually, let me stir this up a little bit more. I want some more strawberry. 10 of Pentacles. So this imagery gives the vibe of gatekeeper, right? You have the two dragons guarding the gate, guarding the threshold. Oh, you know what? This is giving me the vibe of going back and forth through the gate or over the threshold. It's like going in and outside the house. Regardless of race, but especially for Black folks here in America, and I'm sure throughout the diaspora, getting fussed at and yelled at by, mom usually, but it could be both parents, about running in and out of the house. The constant kind of coming in and out between being in this space or being in that space, being in this relationship or not being in this relationship, doing this thing or not doing that thing, going after this goal and then stopping. Like, it's just that constant back and forth, that dual energy, which you might find more typically, with an air sign. But you are a dual nature Cancer. So, this is kind of what's showing up. So this is across the spectrum. Or this can be across the spectrum, depending on your situation. I am definitely feeling, though, with this is regarding spiritual development, primarily. So there's been, or you're in the process of ending that back and forth between options for spiritual paths, spiritual practices that you are engaging with, or even to begin and engage with a spiritual process, because that could also be the thing, is you're starting that and you've been going back and forth between, do I want to deal with these existential questions? Right? So yeah, that's what I'm getting with this. So I really like that. So a way to honor the ending of that back and forth, and the fact that you have actually made the decision. So I was picking up that there might be potentially some grief about making the choice, because there can be this idea that if you choose something, then that means that everything else is dead, or it's not valued, or it's not important, or it can't be a part of your life. And that is not true. Okay. Your spiritual path, the one that you are choosing to, you're going to give back what you stole from me. I don't understand what you mean with that. Can you elaborate? So what that can mean is your spiritual path is that one that you're focused on in order to achieve a particular spiritual goal, right? Whatever that may be for you. And ultimately it should be for good, spiritual liberation, etc. And it's a way to focus your energy, your intention, your resources in order to do so. Mundane example. If you say you like sports and you like baseball as well as volleyball, you might be good with both. There is going to come a point in time where, as you go through the years and you get better and better, you're going to have to make a choice about which one you're going to put your time and investment into, if ultimately your goal is to be a professional sports player. And so a decision is made. I'm going to do either the volleyball thing or I'm going to do the baseball thing. And there can be a sense of grief around, like, oh, if I choose volleyball per se, then that means baseball is completely taken out of my life. That's not true. It's still there. You can still engage with it. It's just the bulk of the time and the purposeful investment of energy, resources, etc., is going to go into getting you to the level of being a professional volleyball player, because that's the decision that was made. And then you, in your free time or where you can, engage with the other sport that you enjoy, right? So now, in terms of how you can create a kind of like ritual or celebration around the sanctity of that ending of really the choice, the decision, I think actually holding a bit of a spiritual cord, if you will, would be good. So calling in, your elevated beneficial ancestors and your spiritual teachers, and all those different traditions or paths or whatever that you engage with, and those those master teachers, those master leaders, even the ancestors within those different lines and practices, and give thanks and celebrate and honor the help and support that they have provided in getting you to the place that you are now. Because even if you didn't particularly choose their path, you chose a path, and ultimately that is the point, that's the goal. So there's going to be happiness, there's going to be joy, and you can give your thanks, you can give your honoring, you can give gratitude for what has been learned. You can share your concerns and how you feel, really spend time in relationship with that. And rather than it be a funeral, so to speak, it can be a celebration of commitment, a celebration of marriage, right? Yeah, so however that can look like for you, do that in nature, doing that at home, at your altar, or what have you. That might be a way to do that. Okay. Alrighty, so let's move on to Leo. You have the Temperance card. So this is something wasn't expecting to see for an ending. Okay, so interesting. This card is often associated with patience, the Temperance card. This particular imagery for this deck is this dragon drinking icy cold water. And as soon as I thought that, I was getting the vibe of the dampening of your light, of your power. There's an ending of that. So, the I'm wondering why the choices were being made to dampen your power, though. Okay, so Spirit is bringing my attention to the clouds back here, and it's cloudy rather than being sunny. This behavior, whatever this has really looked like for you, has been showing, or has been having the effect of really disrupting your emotional and mental well-being. Like the internal world is and has not been good because of this pattern of behavior. Now, this pattern of behavior may specifically be, I don't want to feel these things. I don't want to acknowledge what really is going on because I may not feel like I have the power to do something about it. It's too uncomfortable. It's too much. I don't want to deal with it. We can run the gamut, but that's the vibe that I'm getting from that. So you've gotten to a place now where you're like, okay, I'm ready now to face what I've been apathetic about, what I've been trying to squash, what's been unconscious, etc. Okay. So I like that. I mean, with those clouds there, it might not be a fun process, but there's the word that's coming through is resolve. The imagery I'm getting for a way that you can honor the ending of this process and that cycle is the simplicity of just a large, ugly rock. It could be a crystal, but to let it kind of be the representative of the big bad, the stuff that you don't want to face, the ugliness. That it can become the external representation of what you've not been wanting to see or feel inside. So that that energy, that pattern, that way of being no longer runs you. It's no longer festering in you, in your energy field. And instead sits outside of you and something that you can see and that you were forced to face. Yeah. I like that for you. Yeah, that actually feels good in the body. It's like that has to be taken out. So again, a ritual practice, a way to spiritualize this process is to do this. So it doesn't, I mean, you still have to like deal with it, whatever you have to deal with, but the representation, there seems to be a lot of power in having that physically outside of you. Okay. And Virgo. Okay, so you have the Knight of Cups. So this is what is ending. Or what has already ended. This might be about self-delusion. The self-delusion in what way? Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, Pisces, there's always so much that can be going on with you, but self-delusion is what's coming up with this. I think whatever this self-delusion is about, you are aware of it and you are addressing it. I do want more about this though. One second. I'm gonna get some more tea about this. I'm getting your business Pisces, or oh my goodness, that's why I was not getting it, because I was saying Pisces rather than Virgo. My mind was thinking Pisces rather than Virgo, which is interesting because Virgo also has Cups energy. I mean, Pisces also has Cups energy. Wow. And the nodes in your signs. So what's going on with Virgo and Pisces right now? Oh, the self-delusion, that makes sense if this is Virgo. This makes much more sense if it's Virgo. I love you, Virgo, but you know, the message is the message. So Virgos, I have to keep saying the name because like Pisces was coming through hard. Not you trying to not be focused on. So Virgos, self-delusion. There's an element of self-delusion that has to be addressed. And the self-delusion can be believing or thinking that you are going to be or do something that really truly is not for you. and or you thinking or believing that there's something for you to do other than what you've already been given. And that temporary circumstances do not mean permanent path or permanent focus, I should say. So yeah, self-delusion. Wow, Virgo. That really was that was interesting. Which is wild because we're in your eclipse season right now until we get to the next new moon solar eclipse in the spring. So yeah, spotlight is on you, but we're not wanting to be seen. Okay. So ways that we can honor that sacred ending of self-delusion in our lives, Virgo. Um, And to think about that for a second, I will sip. I should have known that this tea wasn't going to last me for this entire Oracle Talks. We're going to be here for a while. What's a way to honor that ending sacred ritual for you? Okay, I will get the Akashic Tarot for this because I feel like there's on some level an inability to give yourself permission to fully embrace the implications of the liberation you've just given yourself. So ancestors, elevated beneficial ancestors, ascendant masters, teachers, guides, and loved ones. Oh, interesting. We have the initiation card. And that's the bottom of the deck is will, wisdom, and mind, which is all divine energies. Underneath that is the Buddha prepares. Underneath that is the light of the world. So this is very blatantly spirituality. Because initiations can just talk about, I mean, this can be a spiritual thing, but yeah, with all those cards. So this might actually be an interesting turning point for you into a deepening spiritual path. Because I do think that Virgos are too smart to be atheists. Yeah, but there's some maturing here in the spiritual process for you, and what that is, it's just going to depend. Let me see what message comes in this. This card represents your initiation as much more than a change or even a transformation. It's nothing less than your movement into higher revelations of power, insight, and achievement, and the time is now. Yeah. So because this references the ascendant masters, I'll just say, just in general, you may already have a relationship or relationships with, ascended masters or ancestors, or just any wise one in the spirit. You'll have at least one. But if you have multiple, check in with each of them and see who is best to support you in the closing of this cycle, and also who can give you a bit more insight. So yeah, this seems more like having a conversation with a wise one in the spirit. Interesting. Wasn't expecting that for you, Virgo, but okay. Alrighty, Libra, you have the Chariot. Look at that. So this is actually the ending. This is what we are leaving behind. So there's an inherent dual nature in the Chariot. This is obviously the Cancer card, so the Cancer message may resonate with you. And this does represent victory in war. So maybe there is an ending of a particular fight that you've been engaging with, whether it's as part of your spiritual development process, like that internal fighting that can happen, or of course, external fighting. And there is also this dual nature here. Dual nature has been coming up a few times. So I wonder, yeah, I think this is actually similar to the Aries message. I think the difference, though, definitely watch the Aries message, and I will put the timestamps in the description box below once I'm done with the live stream. But I think that the difference with this is this is energy body, right? The yin and the yang principles in the energy body. Or just in general polarity. Not that polarity would just like stop existing, but it's bringing things actually into harmony and balance within, so that the swings and the extremes are not happening. There's something about this that's come to a deeper level of understanding, and yeah, you're either at the place now or you're in the process of not being pulled or swayed or having to wrangle the polarities within the energy field. Because that's what the Chariot person is doing. It's wrangling the polarities, the light and the dark, and having it go in a particular direction, which is a necessary part of the process. But the next step is the 14, not the 7, right? The 7 is the first stage that you want to get to. The next stage is the 14, the integrated one. So, or the balanced, harmonized one, which is actually more your nature. So I feel like this is actually, I'm getting the phrase coming home. But this is more energetic, whereas for Aries it was more so in the mind, intelligence kind of stuff. Interesting. So how you can honor the ending of that internal spiritual war, if you will, because that's what it can feel like. I think going through the process actually of acknowledging with each aspect of this polarity, the yin aspect and the yang aspect, and honoring what they each bring to the table, and letting them know that they don't individually have to have the answers, to figure everything out, to be the end all be all. They don't have to try to dominate the other. Like none of that has to happen. Like there is a greater spirit, there's a greater energy that encompasses all of that they are, right? But yeah, that acknowledgement of both. You can do that in some journaling. You can give one day to each and spend time with them each day, saying thank you, praising their gifts, and then introducing them to this new, bigger energy. Okay. Scorpio, you have the Wheel of Fortune. What a thing to be ending. Time is the word that's coming through. So what this is feeling like is well, it's twofold. It's on one level, not waiting for the perfect time to do something, or perfect conditions, or what have you. Like there's never going to be perfect time, right? Or like perfect conditions. It's just the best. And then you have to have those ideas of the conditions that at a bare minimum can mean a yes, so that you can get going, right? But yeah, it's no longer being bound by those kind of preconceived notions about time and timing, as well as understanding time and timing and respecting it, and understanding that you actually do create time and timing as well. So there's a greater time and timing, and there's time and timing that you create. All right. But I think the more reactive version of this is what's ending. Some way to commemorate the ending of that relationship with time might be to go on an adventure and see if you can find like an old school pocket watch at a thrift shop. Or even just a regular, watch that has second hands on it. It's not digital. Excuse me. And then you have to like wind up, right? No battery. You actually have to wind it up. It'd be better if it's something that you can carry and you can like, have it with you for a couple days. But you could also do like a small little clock as well. Again, go on an adventure if you can. Unless you already have something like that you want it to represent, again, the ending of something. But yeah, find a clock at a thrift shop or a vintage spot, or maybe a garage sale, flea market, whatever, and let that represent the old way of relating to time. Put that on the altar and sit with that and journal about or talk about with the ancestors the different ways that previous relationship with time played out and what that looked like, and give thanks for what has been learned, and give thanks for the opportunity to now have new ideas of playing with time and timing. Okay, Sag. How you doing, Sag? You have Princess of Swords. Interesting that this is what's ending for you. This is a card of communication and the mind, but I feel like this is a place where you're really strong, but something about this is you're needing to end. The first word that popped up was petty. I laugh because I'm like, is that really what it is? And it's, yeah, there's something about your behavior and the use of your power where you're just engaging in petty behavior because of someone or something that you don't like or don't approve of. And it's just really immature. Like, it's all fun and games while it was fun and games, but like you're at that point where it's just like, oh, this is just ego. This is immature. We need to behave differently and show up differently, right? So that's the vibe here. We give thanks for maturity. So how can you sanctify that ending, ritualize that ending of this pettiness? Because I'm hearing like it's all been like low-hanging fruit. And this is a princess. It's not like you're even king level. So yeah, how can we give thanks for letting go of that? It might be good to take a martial arts class or some type of physical class, like, boxing or kickboxing, jiu-jitsu or something, where you have to physically be in combat to kind of burn off the rest of that and get it out of your system. if that makes sense. And it may also be a thing where you recognize the value of possibly having this be a regular occurrence for you. Because maybe this behavior and aspect of this is like a weed and it kind of continually sprouts up. So maybe once a month, as close as you can get to like the moon being in Sag, you're just like, let me go hit things for a little while, right? Let me go wrestle for a little while to burn that energy off. So yeah, see how that goes. See how that goes for you. All right, Scorpio, or not Scorpio, Capricorn. I know who you are. Capricorn, you have the Seven of Swords. Okay. This is definitely illusion. This is deeper than the self-delusion, though, that was coming up for Virgo. There may be elements of self-delusion, so it may be relevant, so you can watch the Virgo message. But yeah, this illusion, this is illusion in two ways, and both are prevalent. One way in which you willingly believe the illusions of others, even though you do know better because of experience and also what your intuition tells you and what you pick up energetically regarding a person, place, or thing, situation, like, you know, but willingly have gone along with the illusion in order to whatever, right? So that's one thing. And then the other is illusions that you yourself have created in order to get a particular outcome. Okay. And that could be a situation where it's just like you've been telling yourself that, like, oh, I'll stay in this job and keep, rising up the ranks because I want to, I don't know, have this recognition or make this amount of money or what have you. But the truth is, you really are afraid to try something else or go somewhere else, right? Same thing with relationships. Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining. Let us know where you're joining from and what you might be sipping on. I have my last little bit of matcha latte here. We're on Capricorn right now for these messages of endings. And then we're going to start for the investments. I'm debating whether I want to create a different stream for that, just so that this won't be like 2 hours long, but I might just stay on. We'll see. Yeah, so Capricorn, the illusions, both those created by others, which basically, I'm saying illusions, but essentially these are lies. Okay, so the lies of others that you're willingly going along with in order to get some kind of benefit, or the lies that you're telling yourself, again, in order to get some kind of benefit. Okay, you're joining from Canada. Oh, nice. And drinking green tea, beautiful. And you're Leo. Welcome. So how to sanctify that ending of those illusions and a really simple ritual around that. What would that look like for you? Oh, if you're new to the channel, please do subscribe. It does help, and it'll help me get to 1,000 subscribers, which would be amazing. Thank you in advance. This is, as I'm trying to fill into this, is similar to what was coming up with emotions that were coming up before with Cancer. It's different emotions. This one is more so having a hard time reconciling the fact that you are believing lies or you're creating lies, right? So, oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah. So let's get out the Akashic Tarot and see what's good for you. Get some more clarity on what can kind of help move you through that process. Because this dragon in the shadows is actually really interesting to me. This feels like the big bad in the subconscious. But the thing is, it's a shadow. It's not even real. Meaning, it's not founded on something that's actually occurring. It is actually a figment of imagination. Because there can be fear around backlash and pushback and all that, but that's not what this is about. Oh my goodness. Okay, so the phrase that's coming up is the price or the cost of truth. I think that's actually what the fear is around. Interesting, Capricorn. Or wherever you have Capricorn in the chart. The price of the cost of truth. Yeah, here's the thing though. Your truth doesn't have to be blasted, right? It doesn't have to be used as a weapon. I know the swords are here, but it doesn't have to be used as a weapon. It doesn't have to be exposed to all. If something's being offered or whatever, you can simply just say no. You can come up with whatever excuse you want for the no if you don't feel comfortable sharing the deeper reasoning behind it. If you don't feel safe for that, like, to me, that's fine. But you saying no is what's important, in my opinion. If it's not really for you, or you saying yes if it is really for you, right? Whether it's person, place, or thing. So I actually don't need the cards for this. What I'm getting is a visual of having, for your altar space, if you have a personal altar space, or you can even put this on the ancestor altar, depending on your space constraints and what you have available. But to have a little treasure box, a little safe box, something, if you can find it, something with a little latch to close, or even like a key that you have to like use to open it. But letting that represent either just in general, or you can actually write and put, write on paper and parchment and put it inside the box. But write about what your truth is, or your truths are, that you want to keep safe and hidden, and that you're really navigating around. These can be deeper needs, deeper wants, etc. And letting that be a safe place for safekeeping, and also a stronghold that you don't actually negotiate around. You may color however you need to get whatever you need, but you don't actually negotiate around, so that you don't dishonor yourself. That's what's coming through for you, Capricorn. So hope that helps. All righty. And Aquarius, you have Seven of Cups. So this is what is ending for you, or what has already ended. This is definitely the card that represents illusion, but that's not what I'm getting for you, although, you know, it's come up twice already, so we'll see. It might come up for you. This feels very specifically like the ending of this idea of not knowing what to choose, because the Seven of Cups provides you with options, and it can represent being in a state of apparent confusion because you're like, okay, which do I go with? What's actually going to be best? And you're kind of weighing your options. But inherent in that card is this idea that you don't actually know what's best for you, or that there is even viable options for you to be considering. Right? Let me get some water. Yeah. So the ending of this idea that you don't actually know where you're going, the direction you're heading in, or even like what the through line is from all the different things that were popping up. Okay. So that not knowing, that lack of clarity, lack of focus is no longer, it's done. You know what's up. Okay. Now, with that being said, how can you honor the sanctity of that ending and create ritual around it? I think I am actually going to do 2 separate streams. So this one will be specifically on the ending. So I'm going to finish Aquarius and Pisces, close, take a 5-minute break, and then jump back on. So come back for the next one where I'll be talking about investments. Okay. Which is good. You get a 2-for-1 because next week is Thanksgiving holiday week. So you have 2 videos to tie you over. Since I won't be doing Oracle Talks next Saturday, I'm going to be living my best life hosting. There's almost a mirror quality to this. So maybe you might actually be, maybe you'd actually benefit from doing some mirror work. So again, if you can find a small handheld mirror, whether you already have one, or again, if you want to go on an adventure, go to a thrift shop or somewhere where you can find a small, really nice vintage one. You usually have beautiful carvings on the other side, or it could even be a handheld. Or again, just use what you have. You might have one of those classic ones that we used to have back in the day when we were getting our hair done by our moms. From the beauty shop, the little plastic ones. Like, just do what you can with what you have. But yeah. I think the mirror is going to have to be an affirmation mirror, but it's an affirming of you and all these things that are emanations of you. All that has come up to this point. all that's being let go. Because ultimately clarity is about you being in the driver's seat, which is really beautiful, because also we're coming into the North Node going into Aquarius in the tropical system, right? So next year in 2026. So if you have your nodes in Leo, Aquarius, if you are, rising sign Aquarius, sun sign Aquarius, or opposite to that, like Leo, right? Because your opposite is always going to be dealing with you anyway, because there's no real opposite. It's the same. But there's two sides of the same coin. So whatever's going on with one is at a deeper level impacting the other, and vice versa. I like that. That's really beautiful. Okay. Moving on. Beautiful Pisces, you have the Ace of Cups. Now let's see if we can actually stay in your energy, Pisces, because Virgo is trying to not deal with itself and was masking with you when I was doing their read. So yeah, Ace of Cups. This is what's ending for you, or what has already ended. So what's that about? It's interesting because the aces always talk about new beginnings, new ideas. Oh, new ideas is what this is. Okay. The ending of new ideas. Ooh, this feels like a call out. I don't think I need to say much about this, Pisces, because I think you get it. But the compulsion to generate new ideas, often, not always, but in this case for you, it's coming through. So I'm gonna speak to it as this way. Can often, you see the sunlight coming through, like it's like you don't get this message, okay? Often it can point to a subconscious way to sabotage oneself from not actually finishing or completing the creation process with other areas, people, place, things, etc. Okay. So this is kind of like that squirrel energy. I don't necessarily really pick that up with you often, Pisces, but as a mutable sign, like, it can come up. Try not to do too much of a show here on YouTube because, oh, hey, welcome from Florida. So just so you know, this, I'm actually going to do 2 live streams. We're on the last right now for Pisces. So I'm going to finish this up and then take like a 5-minute break and come back on for the second message. So this message has been about the endings, and the next message will be about the investments. But it works out perfectly because I was going to have to do a second video at some point next week anyway, because I'm not going to be here next Saturday because of the Thanksgiving holiday. But Spirit, this is why Spirit be spiriting in my life. So yeah, stick around. So Pisces, yeah, the ending of the new ideas. And this is important, not because it's not important to have new ideas, but the way that they have been, how you've been engaging with them has been as a way to subconsciously sabotage going through the full life cycle of other things that you already previously started on and have not completed for a variety of reasons. And it's also an abuse of the power to generate new ideas, to be blunt. Okay, so that is ending or has already ended for you. So a way to, sanctify the end of that process, create a beautiful ritual around and say goodbye to that dynamic or way of being. So this actually could be a two-part for you. So one aspect being resolving to yourself, whether in meditation or what have you, that you're going to stop squirming, so to speak, and instead, focus on the various things that you already said that you're going to do and complete those. As well as still honoring, respecting the new ideas that have come through, writing them down, and also putting them in the treasure box. And maybe those go on your personal altar or your ancestral altar so that they're not forgotten, but it's not right now. Okay. You're not being forgotten. You're not being discarded, because I do value you. You are important. But I'm going to keep you safe. And in doing so, you'll be able to see how I care for, grow, and steward the ideas I do have, how much I'm willing to go for the bat for them, how much I'm willing to sacrifice for them. That's going to deepen your trust in me, and that's going to make our experience in co-creation that much more powerful and that much more potent, because you're going to trust who you've been born to, right? Because the creative's ideas are gifts. They are available to all. They're not unique to you, because trust and believe the ideas that you have are not unique to you. I'll say this again. The ideas you have are not unique to you. Everybody has access to them. But whoever actually follows through, is the one who gets the gift of the physical manifestation. Right? So, yeah. Okay. Do I want to get closing guidance? I believe so. Let's do. Let's do closing guidance. Y'all getting a 2-for-1 today. A 2-for-1. Let's see if I'm decide I want to get more tea. I don't want to over caffeinate myself, but this matcha latte was good. But I might chill. Just drink the rest of my water for the next one. All right, closing message for what I'll say. I'm going to change the title for this. This is going to be the sanctification of our endings, or sanctifying our endings. But closing message as it relates to sanctifying our endings. Oh, I love this. Get creative. And that was actually coming through a lot. There is a lot of this playfulness of inviting joy, gratitude, adventure. It's really heart-centered, really childlike wonder, curiosity, etc. showing up. What is this? I hate that. That's coming through. So let me briefly read what's there. I'm assuming this is a fire card because it's creativity, but let's see. Oh, maybe not. It's actually a water card. Haha. Get curious is the fire energy. Okay, so let's see. I'm actually going to read this whole thing. We're going to get this medicine together. So, in general, the message for this is to be a human is to be creative, but it is easy to lose sight of this. From a young age, we absorb cultural stigma around the arts and creativity, that it's impractical and it should take a backseat to more lucrative pursuits. Hello, capitalism. But the truth is, creativity brings flow to our life. It finds openings. Without a creative practice, we can easily find ourselves stuck and uninspired. And there are so many ways to be creative. You may feel called to rearrange your living space, or write, or take pictures. All of these things are great. Creativity is a way of life, not an activity. This card is asking you to look around and see what things inspire you. What do you feel called to create or transform? Think outside the box. And like I said, a lot of that energy was coming through in the recommendations for how to sanctify the endings and create rituals. So the animal associated with this card is the crow, which I love. Crows are everywhere around where I am. So this is family. The crow teaches us how to approach our current life with a creative edge. They have an incredible keen eye for problem solving and using innovative ways to meet their needs. They have been known to make their own tools and use the world around them to their advantage. Maybe you are not feeling inspired to tackle new projects. That's fine. Call upon Crow as an ally in meeting your current life with an inventive look. All right. Then the plant associated with this is Iris. The iris teaches us how to use our feelings as a gateway to artistic expression. They come in all colors of the rainbow spectrum and often look like they have been painted themselves. They often serve as a portal to our creative selves through channeling divine inspiration. Iris is especially helpful if you are stuck in a routine and can't seem to find beauty in the unexpected. Call upon Iris if you need assistance in restoring vibrancy to your life. And then the crystal associated with this is orange calcite. Orange calcite is like a ray of sunshine that can pierce through all stagnancy and reinvigorate our passion for life. It is helpful when we have childhood wounds around creativity, but can also support creatives who have reached a block in their projects. Pisces. Virgo too, since Virgo was trying to pull into your energy. Call upon orange calcite when you have limiting beliefs or ingrained patterns that hold you back from your creative potential. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. So that's going to be it for part one. Stay tuned for part two. Give me about like 5 to 10 minutes or so to shift the energy, clear out essentially this ending and death energy and let that go. And then call in that new birthing energy, and we'll go through the 12 signs again. And that would be a whole different kind of thing, but it is still connected with this. So I will also be sure, once everything is said and done, to make sure to link these two videos in the descriptions for each so that people know to go back and reference both and get the medicine for both. Yeah. So any questions coming up? think we're good. I think we're good. All right. So love you all. If I'm not going to see you in the next one live, enjoy the recording. If you are new here, please do subscribe to the channel. My goal, I would love for by the end of the year to hit 1,000 subscribers, and I am so very close. So very close. So if you can help me with that, that would be great. Please also like the video if you have subscribed already. And also please share and comment because it helps to spread this in the YouTube ecosystem. Thank you so much for your support in advance. I love you much, and I will see you shortly. Bye.